You must follow the law. The law says...
Glorious. Is it a lawsuit? Probably. Why not?
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with Attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we're going to conclude Wendi Adelson's testimony. Folks, I have jumped ship off the Wendi train, okay? If you watched my last video, and if you haven't, I encourage you to do that. We've broken up the testimony into 4 pieces to make it manageable for you all. Each episode is much longer than what we usually do on this channel, and I can assure you, I am no longer believing a single word that this woman has saying. So that has tainted my entire opinion of her, because in the beginning, for those of you who have watched the first 2 videos, I was kind of on the fence. I was still unsure. I didn't know about the police interview. I'm still kind of getting acquainted with the case, so you understand where my perspective came from. I came into this completely blind, completely fresh. I wanted to see with my own eyes. I wanted to hear with my own ears what is happening, how it's unfolding, and now I have the full picture. So Wendi, you're not fooling anyone, Wendi. And without further ado, let's conclude Wendi Adelson. And before I forget, we will also be doing Rob and Katie, Rob Adelson and Katie McBenoit on this channel. So be on the lookout for those 2. And somebody told me I should do the jailhouse snitches as well. Yeah, drop in the comments below if you want me to do them and drop their names specifically. If you want me to do some specific snitches, or if there was only one, I don't know. I'm still getting caught up. And of course, testimony continues this week in the Donna Adelson trial, and it'll probably conclude on Thursday or Friday. So let's go.
In any event, your mother never saw that motion, did she?
No, she did not.
The grandmother motion's what they're talking about.
Now, the state has referred to this bribe. You've heard them talk about that, correct?
I believe so.
They suggested, because I think there are emails that discuss this, about potentially offering Danny $1 million.
Yes.
And your understanding of what was trying to take place there, because you actually put that in writing, was it wasn't to take the children away from Danny, was it?
No.
And by the way, that is a very dangerous question. You know about the bribe, right? She's like, I think so. Which one are you talking about? Because the minute she asked that question, even I, a total outsider from this case, and I'm sure you as well in your mind went, wait, which one? Are you talking about the bump bribe from the federal agent? Or are you talking about the $1 million, I don't even think it was a bribe. Why would you even call it a bribe? That doesn't seem like a bribe. It's kind of like a way to buy out his rights to see his kids for $1 million. That's not a bribe. That's more of like a negotiation or a settlement or something. Why would her own defense attorney, who's supposed to be representing Donna's interests, is calling that a bribe? Not only does it confuse us, it confuses Wendi and the most important people in the room, the jury. It confuses the jury. What are you talking about? Wow, this woman is incorrigible. And I'm, of course, talking about the defense attorney. Which, by the way, we talked about this before. She's a former judge, and she was forcibly removed from the bench for allegedly engaging in impropriety and what the Florida Judicial Qualifications Council, the JQC, referred to as permanent disability, whatever that means. Some people said it may be drugs. Some others said it may have been alcohol. Others said it was a mental illness. I have no idea, nor do I really care. All we need to know is that she was a judge and she was removed by force because of her inability to perform her duties. And there were also some allegations of corruption, essentially, by the JQC as well. That I'm not making that stuff up. This is all public. You can look it up on Ballotpedia. Let's continue.
It was in hopes that he would relocate to Miami as well, correct?
Yes.
And that although you would live separate lives, you could raise your children together, correct?
Yes.
Because there were more opportunities for him, Danny, to practice his Jewish faith in Miami than there is in Tallahassee, correct?
Correct.
They have kosher food in Miami.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Yes.
They don't have that in Tallahassee.
No.
And the $1 million offer was not to bribe him in what sounds like...
You just called it a bribe!
It was an incentive for him to relocate himself to Miami.
Did this woman just contradict herself within literally less than 30 seconds? Am I hallucinating this? Didn't she just say, let's talk about the bribe. You remember the bribe? I think so. That wasn't a bribe, was it? Then why did you call it a bribe, lady? Okily dokily.
Correct?
Yes. That was my understanding. Yes.
You lived there with him before,
Yes.
and he liked living there.
Yes, he
In
liked
fact-
it very much.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, that's okay. I was just saying he liked it very much.
In fact, he tried to get a professorship at the University of Miami School of Law.
He did.
And if he had gotten that, the plan between you and he was to stay in Miami, correct?
We would have, yes.
But he didn't get it, and so he had already been employed by FSU College of Law, right?
Yes.
And so you moved up here and finished law school, and you all remained in this area.
Yes.
So the $1 million would offset, as the state has mentioned, travel expenses if he moved there, correct?
Right.
He only taught 2 days a week, right?
Yes.
And so that would have given him the opportunity to live in Miami, but for the 2 days a week he needed to be in Tallahassee, he could take plane trips, right?
Yes.
And be here.
Yes.
And if you
Oh
all
yeah,
had
because
done
that's
that,
really easy to travel twice a week by plane every week, month to month. You know how, forget how expensive it is. You know how draining and exhausting that would be? Have you ever tried like driving an hour and a half one way every day? I have. I used to live about 90 miles from college. I wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to move, so I commuted. I can tell you firsthand, spending 3 hours in the car every day, 5 days a week, was exhausting. Actually, I had to condense my classes to where I would go 3 days a week, and I was lucky a couple of semesters I had really long days. But hey, Tuesday, Thursday classes, you start at 8, you finish at 5. Believe you me, folks, it doesn't get much better than that. But even that, 2 days a week driving, 6 hours a week in the car is still draining and exhausting. I can assure you, firsthand experience. Now, you want to tell me flying is gonna be a no problem? What is this woman on? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Plead the fifth, lady. Plead the fifth. I don't want to know what you're on.
he still could have enjoyed 50% parenting time with his children, right?
That would have been the same. Yes.
It wasn't to take him away from the kids.
No.
We're going to talk about relocation more than once, but I just want to make sure I understand how that all came about, okay? So it was, you left the marital home in August or September of 2012.
I think it was September.
Okay, so you separated officially in 2012.
Yes.
By the time he was murdered, almost 2 years had passed.
Yes.
Okay. Do I understand it correctly that somewhere around October or November of 2012 that you interviewed for a job at a law firm in Miami?
I did.
And that was the Grossman firm?
I think it's Grossman and Roth.
Okay. And
I've heard of that firm.
somewhere around December of 2012, they made you an offer.
They're a
They
big
did.
firm.
And I don't need to know numbers, but was it substantially more than you were making in Tallahassee?
It was, and it was just more secure.
More secure. Okay. Not more money?
No, it was more money, but it just, more than anything, it was secure money as opposed to grant money that could be taken away.
Okay, so you were a professor also at the law school here in Tallahassee,
I was.
FSU.
Yes.
You were not tenured.
No, I was a clinical professor.
Okay, so being tenured means you have more stability in your job.
Yes, you have more job security.
Job security, okay. And so you got that offer in December, and sometime in January, you told Danny that you had a good job offer, correct?
Yes, I asked to meet with him, and we went to get coffee and talk about it.
Okay, and in part of that discussion, you asked him if he would consider all of you, not together, but all of you
Yes.
relocating to Miami, correct?
I did.
And he was going to consider that, correct?
He said he was considering it. He wasn't opposed to it.
Okay. You thought it would be good for all of you, correct?
I thought it could be.
Including the boys.
Yes.
Okay. He decided he didn't want to do it, right?
He changed his mind.
Okay. But you didn't change your mind, right?
No, I kept going with it.
So you filed a motion for temporary relocation, and you also amended your petition for dissolution to add relocation, correct?
I did.
Okay. At the time that you filed it, did you think you had a good shot at it?
I thought I had a shot. I didn't really know. It would depend on the judge.
Okay. And we'll go back to it later, but I guess on June the 18th of 2013, which would be right before your divorce was finalized, right? You had a hearing on your motion for relocation.
Yes.
And the state has already presented in its exhibits a copy of the order, and relocation was denied, correct?
It was.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. I mean, I understand she has to go through the motions, but I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point that it was all denied. I don't know if going through that timeline is really helpful to the jury. I want to see where she's going with this. I'm not going to judge, okay? I know I've been kind of throwing a lot at this woman because of her heightened level of incompetence. However, I will say that I'm very interested to see if she does have a point where she's going with this. So let's see if she does. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you get more of these videos delivered directly to you.
And after relocation was denied, you and Danny were able to work out some kind of temporary schedule for the summer.
We were.
Okay. And then you proceeded forward, and there's been discussion. There was a mediation that did not resolve your divorce, but within a few days thereafter, you did come to an agreement with Danny, correct?
We did.
You agreed to all of the issues in the dissolution of marriage, right?
Yes.
Including how you were going to share time with him.
Yes.
Was it ever your intention in the dissolution proceedings, from the time that you moved out of your marital home, that you would actually take the children's custody completely away from Danny so that he couldn't see them?
No.
Did you always want them to be a big part of his life?
Of course.
He loved them and they loved him.
Yes.
I have just a bunch of oddball questions at this point. You recall getting emails from your mother
Yes.
and your father,
Well, yes, from both.
And-
from the
and-
same email.
and I think you had a necklace at some point during that time period that said, never, never, never give up.
I did.
And your parents would sometimes put that in the emails back to you, correct?
Yes.
I need to know if you recall this. Your parents, you had mentioned when they went out of the country, used the WhatsApp to communicate with them because it was free of charge.
Yes.
And you could call them free of
Yeah.
charge?
Yes.
And you could message with them free of charge?
Both. Yes.
Okay. And when your parents would go out of town, do you recall that they had a routine where your mother would take her phone, but your father would not get the plan to travel with? Do you recall that?
That sounds right.
Okay. And wasn't that because if you called the Adelson Institute and you got the answering machine, it was an old-fashioned answering machine, right?
Yes.
And what it gave out if you reached the answering machine was your father's cell phone number.
Yes.
So he didn't want to
Yes.
be contacted when he was out of town, and that's what people would get, right?
Yes.
The birthday party that's been mentioned for your dad, it was his 70th birthday.
It was.
And although I don't think it ended up being a surprise, your mom was trying to plan a party for him where he knew his children and grandchildren would be there, but she was trying to surprise him with the friends.
That's right.
Okay. And you might have helped her with some of those preparations.
I think so.
And she planned it for several months, right?
Yes.
And I think one of the things that you got involved with was a caterer that was going to be used to cook paella. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. At the party.
It's pronounced paella. I remember on the night of, I speak Spanish, so I spoke with him in Spanish because I don't think he spoke much English.
And Mommy, your mother didn't speak Spanish, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, good for her. Sounds like she learned Spanish.
You weren't actually making the order and buying it, correct?
On her own.
No, I didn't pay for anything.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm sorry. It's still Adelson, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Adelson, I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked.
Did she just confirm her last name?
As defense 49J, and ask you to look at that.
Well, I guess she could have gotten married, but wouldn't we hear that in the beginning of the
I
correct?
have seen this before.
Okay, and that's an
It just, again, it goes to show that the lack of preparation, the lack of knowledge of the case. Remember, she had, I can't remember exactly what it was. You guys can probably tell me in the comments below. And as you scroll past it, of course, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know, what was it that I called her out on? I remember very distinctly. I was like, how do you not know this? You've been on this case. You're on this case. You're supposed to know this information. She doesn't know the witness's last name? It was stated multiple occasions over the last 2 hours and 15 minutes of testimony. Did she forget? It's still Adelson. It just shows such a high level of incompetence, folks. I can't understate it enough. Believe me, I'm not trying to just bash this woman for no reason. But there are certain things, certain like level of decorum, if you will. I mean, clearly what this tells me is this woman has never read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. A person's name, Mr. Carnegie wrote, is the sweetest sound that they will ever hear. You must know all the names. Like I said, I have an excuse, although I try very, very hard to learn all the names, and sometimes I butcher them and I mispronounce them, and I apologize every single time. She has no excuse. She is in the case. She has been paid to be there. She is representing Donna, and she needs to know who the witness is. When she asks, it's still Adelson, right? I, as a juror, just go, "Brr?" I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's just my instinct. That is my first gut reaction of, it is so improper for her to act this way. I can act this way. You can act this way. The people in the audience can act this way. Hell, the judge can act this way. There are two people that are not allowed, the prosecutor and the defense attorney, because they have a job to do and they must maintain professionalism. There has to be, even if it's fake, there has to be an aura of professionalism. And doing that is just not professional.
An email that your father sent to you regarding the appointment that he had made for the TV to be repaired, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And on the front page, you can see where he's forwarding it to you, and it says, "Love, Dad," right?
Yes.
And then he tells you when the appointment's going to be, Friday the 18th between 8 and 12, right?
Yes.
And then when you flip, well, now stay on the first page. Do you see down?
And I think they're going one by one. They went after Charlie, he got convicted. Then they went after Donna, she's probably going to get convicted. I am now convinced that Wendi is next, and she will get convicted, and she will also go to prison.
Almost 2/3 of the way down where it has the order information and
Her immunity is
the
not going
order
to cover her.
creation date.
Just
Yes.
as testimony.
And that date was what?
The order creation date is July 11th, 2014.
Okay. And on the next page, where the problem description is, it says that Harvey called in, stated that the 55-inch TV had some problems, right?
Yes.
Go to the next page. It repeats about the complaint that your father had about what was wrong with the TV, right?
Yes.
If you scroll down, there are some questions under dates submitted, right?
Yes.
Whether the TV is wall mounted,
Yes.
what the size of the TV is,
Yes.
if it's mounted over 6 feet high,
Yes.
if the height of the ceiling,
Yes.
is it eligible for a loaner?
Yes.
Was it installed by the Geek Squad?
Yes.
Is the product that we're going to service in a place of business?
So I'm saying yes that I see these questions, but the answer to that question is no.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. That's what I was going to point out. So your
Okay.
dad said no to that one, correct?
Right.
Is the product that we are going to service in a place of business, and your dad answered no, correct?
He answered no.
And the next one says what?
Would you be willing to accept a sooner appointment if one became available? And the answer to that one is yes.
Thank you. Ms. Adelson, you testified on direct when asked some questions about the name change of your children. You recall those questions?
Yes.
Okay, and I think your testimony was that you officially changed your children's last names a year and a half? What did you say?
I legally changed them a year after Danny's death.
Okay. But after he passed away and you went to Miami, it was time for your oldest child to be enrolled in kindergarten, right?
Yes.
And so what were the ages of the children when Danny was murdered?
They were almost 5 and 3.5.
Okay.
And I made a mistake. I think I thought they were older in the previous video, and thank you everyone who corrected me. The children are about 15 and 16, 14 and 15 thereabouts, or 14 and 16, because I think I did the math wrong. I thought either the children were older or more time had passed. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 11 years have passed. They're about 14 and 16 right now, the kids.
And so the 5-year-old was going into kindergarten.
Yes.
And where was the other child going to be? Was he being put in a preschool program?
It was a preschool program.
Okay. And so you went and registered them at the school, correct?
Yes.
And the official registration said Markel for the children's last names, correct?
I believe so.
But because you were going to socially refer to them as Adelson, that's what you asked the school to do as well, right?
Yes.
And so when you went into orientation for the oldest child, I'm trying not to say the name, when you went into orientation for the oldest child for kindergarten, and they had his little nameplate there where he was going to sit at his desk, it said last name Adelson, right?
I honestly don't remember him having a last name on. I remember his first name being there, but I don't remember. I thought they put the first names for the kindergartners.
But you asked the school to refer to him by the last name Adelson.
I did. I did.
And so there was an exhibit that was shown to you where your mother had registered him for an after-school flag football, right?
Right.
And so because the school's knowing his name, that he's being referred to as Adelson, that's why she did that, correct?
Correct.
And the youngest one, where was he going to go? Or where did he go?
He was at a preschool, a private preschool, because he was too young to go to the preschool at the public elementary school.
Okay, and whether it was your mother or your father who wrote the email about signing up and Grandpa's coming with him to, I'm sorry, I'm not Jewish, I didn't understand what that was.
It's okay. Tot Shabbat would have been, like a Sabbath activity where the grandparents would come and sing songs and something like that.
And so the younger ones also being known as last name Adelson.
Yes.
Okay. Because socially, that's what you wanted them to go forward with.
I thought it would make them safer.
Okay. There was some questions of you on direct about potentially purchasing a home after the divorce was final in 2013. You recall those questions?
I do.
And it was suggested that Charlie convinced you not to do that, right?
That was what was suggested.
But in fact, the reason I think you stated was because you hadn't gotten your settlement yet from Mr. Markel.
Right, I didn't have the money to purchase a home.
And so even though you had been interested in it, you had to notify your realtor that...
It wasn't possible at that time.
Okay. And in the emails that the state introduced and discussed with you, where your mother is making lots of suggestions, mostly after relocation was denied, of things that you could do, like tell Danny you're going to raise them as Catholics, you're going to have them baptized as Catholics. All of those suggestions she was making, correct?
Yes.
She wasn't actually suggesting you do it. She was wanting you to use that as a means of negotiating with Danny, right?
That's my understanding.
That if he thought maybe you were going to do these things, he would reconsider the issue of relocation,
Objection,
correct?
speculation.
Correct.
But I guess the prosecution doesn't care about that.
You testified that your mother hated Danny at the time that he was killed. Do you remember saying that?
I believe I said that.
But the week before he died, your mother was babysitting for Danny, wasn't she?
Yes.
And nothing but pleasantries between the two of them.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Who cares?
And in fact, she actually made him banana bread specifically the way he liked it, right?
It was his favorite.
Without nuts, but with chocolate chips.
That's right.
But you think
Oh my God. Folks, I'm sorry, but this is so cringeworthy. Stop it. Stop trying to humanize Danny to make and humanizing Donna in the process. I understand that's part of the job, but there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. This is the wrong way, folks. This is not how you humanize your client after she's being accused of conspiracy to commit murder. Because sometimes sociopaths and psychopaths can be really, really nice to your face and then stab you in the back. I'm sure a lot of you have had experiences like that in your life, maybe obviously not leading up to your inevitable demise off the planet Earth, off this planet, but we've all been there. We've all been there when people are smiling to your face and then behind your back they're just talking smack and doing everything they can to destroy you. You know what I mean? Or to make you out to be the bad guy or the bad girl and the bad actor. So saying all of these things like she made him food that he likes and yada yada, none of that is achieved. It's actually, if nothing else, I guarantee, if I'm a juror on this case, I'm thinking, yes, and what does that have to do with anything? Again, it just goes to show the defense has nothing. Nothing. Zero, zilcho, nada, zip, zilt, nada. Auf Wiedersehen.
she hated him?
I think she was mad at him.
Mad at him. There's a difference between being mad at someone and hating them, isn't there?
There is.
I think you testified that, and there may have been an email that suggested it, that you would have never left Danny if not for your mom and maybe brother's suggestions. Did you say that?
I don't think that was exactly right. I think it was, I probably wouldn't have left. Kind of suggesting that maybe I would have wanted to, but wouldn't have had the strength or wherewithal to leave on my own.
Okay, isn't it true that each year, maybe not every year, but many years, yourself and Danny would, when you finished the school session here at FSU College of Law, you would go down to Coral Springs or Miami, whichever they were at, and you would spend almost 2 weeks with your parents, right?
Yes.
And that would be yourself and Danny when it was just you, right?
Yes.
And then after you had the children, all of you went down there, correct?
Yes.
Well, in fact, what really happened was in the summer of 2012, when you decided that you were going to leave Danny, Danny was down there with you, correct?
Yes.
And the children were there too?
Yes.
And they were young. How old were they?
In 2012, they would have been 2 and 3.
Okay. And Danny was there, and you actually asked your mom if she'd go out to coffee with you. You remember that?
I don't remember that.
And you told her then that you were going to leave Danny and get a divorce, didn't you?
That sounds right, but I don't remember that.
Okay. And in fact, she suggested counseling to you, and you told her you guys had already been in counseling and it didn't work. Isn't that right?
We had been in counseling and it hadn't worked, but again, this sounds like something that could have happened, but I just don't remember the coffee.
Do you remember anything, lady?
There was also questions of you, several questions about your interview with law enforcement the day that Danny was shot. You recall those questions from the state?
I do recall the questions.
And they were pointing out things that you had said about your family, your parents, Charlie. You remember those questions?
I do.
Isn't it true that when you were interviewed by law enforcement, what you said initially was that Danny's parents were going to think that you're the one who did it, right?
I did say that.
I wanted to talk about the relocation a little bit.
That's all you've got?
So you have a relocation hearing on June the 18th. Does that sound right?
I have to say, folks, this is... And again, I get it. They just don't have a lot to go on. There's no real defense for Donna. She's guilty as sin, and so her defense attorney is trying something, anything. But to insinuate, okay, so initially they thought, his parents would have thought you did it because you're the ex-wife, and you probably did. You more than likely did. You 100% participated. We agreed before, at a bare minimum, even when I was kind of, sort of, under your spell, which I will admit I was. Even then, I was like, you had knowledge. Even then, recall, folks, in the first video I made, I said you clearly had not, maybe it was the second, I can't remember. The first 2 videos were kind of done together. You had knowledge. I unequivocally, and obviously I still stand by it, unequivocally stated it, and I still stand by it. But now, I'm starting to see your level of involvement was a lot more than simply knowledge. You actively participated. It's just you as an attorney were smart enough not to have anything in writing. Because we as attorneys, we know any text message that you ever send in your life, be prepared that those messages will be used in a court of law. For whatever reason, you never know. Things happen. Anything is possible. Anything could happen. And Wendi at least had 2 brain cells firing, and she was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't participate in this group chat, if you will, between my brother and my mom. That is the only thing that you have done to kind of shield yourself from it. But I am 100% convinced this woman has a black heart. I see it now. I see it. I was blind, but now I see. I have found Jesus. As a Jewish man, this sounds so weird to say. I know. But you know what I'm trying to say. I'm being serious. This woman participated and helped orchestrate. It's just she never left a trail. The trail that she left was in her interviews with police, was in her behavior driving past Danny's house on the morning of the murder. She was aware of her actions to a limited extent. She doesn't know how it looks, and her actions are what gave her away. And of course, her words in the testimony of Charlie's trial, which I have not watched, but I've heard about, her police interview, and this testimony in Donna's trial, of course.
2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. And leading up to that hearing, you notified your mother by email that because she was going to be testifying in court, she would need to wait outside that hearing, correct?
I don't remember that, but that if she was supposed to be a witness, then she couldn't be present for the hearing.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you, oh my goodness, I can't read that. I'm going to show you what's been marked.
Stop with the side comments.
Defense Exhibit 49B. You could just read that for me, please, to yourself.
Like, I just want to say, I know I keep pausing it. Folks, if you want everything what not to do as a criminal defense attorney when you're defending your client, watch this woman and then do the opposite. Like the little side comments, don't do those. The questions that she's asking, ask different, better questions. The way that she's dressed, dress better. Those little smiles that she is throwing at the witness for no reason during cross-examination, avoid those. Like everything, you want to study how to become an excellent criminal defense lawyer, watch that woman cross-examine and then do the opposite. It's a great lesson. It really is.
Want me to read to the end?
No, ma'am, I'm just looking for where you told your mother, get you to agree that you said to her, because you are testifying in court, Mom, you won't be able to sit in on the hearing with me. Is that what you said?
Yes, but I can have Dad there. Yeah.
Come and get it from you.
Okay.
Sometime in April of 2013, so that would be not long before your divorce was final, you took a trip. I don't know if you were speaking there or someone else was, but you took a trip out of town with a gentleman named Miguel. You recall that?
I don't recall the trip, but I was seeing Miguel at the time.
You do recall the trip?
Well, I was seeing Miguel at the time, but I don't know what the trip was in April of 2013. I don't remember that. Can you tell me where we went?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get that.
Okay.
Puerto Rico. Does that sound familiar?
It was a clinical law professor conference. There's
she
one every
suddenly-
year, and that year it was in Puerto Rico.
This is how you know she's lying, by the way. I'm starting to see her patterns now after listening to her for so long. How does she go like, where did we go? I don't even remember. Puerto Rico. Oh, Puerto Rico. Yeah, that was the conference, and it was on June 13th from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. We went into the... Bitch, please.
Okay. And did you speak at that, or you were there to get credit hours or something of that
No,
nature?
I spoke.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to now show you what's been marked for identification purposes as Defendant's Exhibit 1E. And it's dated April the 28th of 2013 and addressed Dear Renee. You don't need to read it all, but would you familiarize yourself with your communication there, please?
Okay, I've read a little bit. Do you want me to?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'll point out any sections that I wanted to discuss with you. Would you agree that you wrote this on April the 28th of 2013?
And also, let me make a point. You see how it goes so smoothly? Like we don't have any pauses or anything. It goes directly as soon as she's done reading. That's because of the trial channel. I'm using their footage. So thank you to the trial channel. Go and subscribe to them. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to their channel. Go and scratch that. Shout out to them once again for doing such a great job.
Yes, it looks like I dated it.
Okay, and that's to Renee.
Yes.
And you're coming back from your trip to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And while you were on this trip, your parents were taking care of the boys, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And on the first page, down towards the bottom, you have some bullet points about what you would like to do to resolve your divorce, correct?
Well, I think it was not just about my divorce. It was kind of about how I wanted to be living my life overall.
Yeah, I was trying not to get into the personal information, but that's right. This entire email is really about changes you want to make in your life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the last bullet point down at the bottom, it says, I've been coming to a place in the last few months where I have realized that I want to keep my job. It allows me the maximum amount of flexibility to spend with my kids while allowing the freedom for intellectual exploration, one-on-one mentoring with students, and meaningful work in the community. I don't care that Jibbers told my colleagues that I stole from him and that I am mentally ill. Nasty things are said in divorce, and people know that, right?
Yes.
Tallahassee isn't ever where I wanted to live, but it's where the job is. And it's where my boy's father is, which means they don't have to constantly be flying on planes or driving in cars to accomplish our custody situation, right?
Yes.
So you have the pending petition a motion for relocation, but as of April the 28th, you're starting to think maybe staying in Tallahassee is the right thing to do, correct?
Yes.
And then this goes on, third page is, now you're writing on May the 2nd of 2013, correct?
Yes.
A little different subject, but if you go to the next to the last page of that exhibit, see where it starts, wait, it's me again?
Yes.
Okay. The paragraph after that, I wanted to ask you about this. It says, on Sunday morning, we're supposed to sit on the same stage. You're referring to Mr. Markell, correct?
Yes.
In full regalia and clap for the graduating law students. I love graduation, and the Gibbs has never attended because it's normally on a Saturday morning and he is at synagogue. Correct?
Yes.
And then you say it's on Sunday this year and I have the boys and the dean wants all faculty to attend. So I need to, it's only 2 hours and my mom can watch the boys during that time. Correct?
Yes.
So it was fairly routine then for you to get your mother or both parents' assistance when you had somewhere that you needed to be and someone needed to take care of the children, correct?
Yes.
May I approach? I'm gonna exchange with you.
When you have nothing, you use the bare minimum that you have. That's just what it boils down
It's been
to.
marked as Defense Exhibit 1G for identification purposes. Could you review that to yourself, please?
Okay.
I'm not sure if this was to Renee or not. Yeah, you mentioned Renee. So this is on June the 4th of 2013, correct?
Yes.
And we're approaching the hearing date on the relocation motion, which is set for June the 18th, right?
Yes.
And in here, you're expressing some concerns over what you've been through in the divorce. But you said, and I think the state referred to this, that Mr. Markell had sent you a long message about how you could be doing all of the divorce stuff so differently in the spirit of love and joy, where we get together and talk about our vision for the boys and for our future. And I won't say what you said after that, but at this point, you're kind of agreeing with him. You want to do it peacefully, right?
Yes.
And you talk about the one alternative is you could call Gary. Now, Gary is the gentleman who was kind of offering you a position in Miami, right?
Gary was a partner at the law firm where a position was offered to me.
Okay, and your plan was to have him come and testify at the relocation hearing about the job that he would be giving you if you relocated there, correct?
Yes.
And you had other people who were going to testify there as well on your behalf, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you say one alternative is you call Gary and say, I've changed my mind. I don't think it's best for my kids to move them to South Florida. I appreciate you saving the job for me, but I'm not going to come to South Florida, correct?
Yes.
And then you call your brother and say, I love you, Charlie, but I'm going to stay in Tallahassee. I know you don't agree with my decision, but that's what's best for me and the kids right now. I hope one day you'll understand. That was something else you're considering, correct?
Right.
I know I've said it before and I want to say it again. It's just so horrific that all of this, a human life was taken just because he refused to agree to allow the kids to relocate to South Florida and himself to relocate to Miami. He is dead because he didn't move. Like, what the actual...
And then call your parents and say basically the same thing. And if they wanted to come up anytime and visit you and the boys in Tallahassee, they were free to do so, right?
Yes.
But that's like they've always been doing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you think if you take relocation off the table, that it will give you an opportunity to discuss things with Mr. Markell and hopefully work them out, right?
Yes.
On the next page, you talk about what the alternative vision is, and that's what you currently have planned, which is to have Gary fly up to testify at the hearing, right?
Yes.
Your mom would testify, right?
Yes.
They would fly up and spend days with you, correct?
Yes.
You expected at that time the hearing would last 1 to 2 days, right?
Yes.
And you were concerned that you would go through all of that, spending more money, being more stressed. And then you say, for the chance to save face with my family and to be given an opportunity I don't actually want, to live with them in South Florida. That's what you said, right?
Well, I say an opportunity I don't actually want with all of my heart, but maybe part of it
Okay.
to live with them in South Florida.
All right. And then you say, so,
and that's another egregious mistake by the defense. I know it may seem like nothing to some of you. Allow me to explain. When you are reading someone else's testimony back to them, you have to read it word for word for word for word. You can't skip around ellipses, ... because then you change the context. You change the meaning of the words. You change the meaning of the sentence. You may change the entire meaning of their intent. And when she first said it, I was like, oh, so you didn't really want to live with your parents. And then when she corrected her, well, this is actually what I said. It's like, but you did. It's so bad.
so I am willing to put myself through all of this just to keep up appearances with my parents and brother that I want to be living down in South Florida or down south with them, even though I don't want to. That's what you said, right?
I say, even though I don't want to give up my current flexible job where I get to spend maximum
Again.
time with my kids so I can be with them.
Okay.
Oh
And
my
that
God.
was June the 4th of 2013, right?
Yes.
And what you end up choosing was the second alternative, correct?
I went through with the hearing.
Okay. And I think, let me find it. I'm going to show you what's already been introduced into evidence as states.
I have secondhand embarrassment for this lawyer that's doing the cross-examination of Wendi Adelson. I have secondhand embarrassment, folks.
60. Let's see if I can figure out their lettering system. That would be Y. I'm going to take this, unless you take this book,
Okay.
and if you would review that pleading, or this order that the court entered, please.
Okay.
Have you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes.
So you went into this hearing, and Gary ended up coming, correct?
He did.
And he testified, right?
Yes.
And you gave some testimony, correct?
Yes.
And what happened was the judge kind of called a timeout, right?
I don't remember a timeout.
At some point, she wanted to speak to counsel. Is that right?
I'm sorry, I don't remember that part of her speaking to counsel. In
Do you remember the judge making some comments about the children hadn't been harmed, and since he hadn't pulled out their toenails?
I do remember the toenail comment. Yes.
So she wasn't leaning towards relocation, correct?
No.
Okay, so even though you had other witnesses, you didn't proceed with the hearing, right?
Well, I think we had the hearing and the judge decided.
You didn't call all your witnesses, did you?
I don't remember.
If you look at the order, it says order on wife's petition to relocate with the minor children. And then it says what the court orders and adjudges. The court does not find that the wife has met her burden of proof that a relocation is in the best interest of the minor children. You see that?
Yes, number one.
Yes. And your mother actually stayed outside for the testimony of that hearing with your dad, correct?
I don't remember, but I remember asking her to stay outside if she was going to testify.
Okay. And you came outside at some point and told your parents that relocation was denied, correct?
Correct.
And it's after this hearing, when relocation is denied, that those truly ugly emails that your mother wrote were written by her, correct?
Yes.
May I approach? Actually, if you keep that for a second.
Okay.
Once the final judgment was entered, the issue of relocation was over, right?
Yes.
Relocation from July 31st of 2013 until the time that Mr. Markell was murdered was never an issue again, was it?
It was never an issue from the day it was decided on July 31st, 2013. That's when it ended.
Certainly after the final judgment, correct?
Yes.
And that's the end of the discussion about relocation, right?
Yes.
No more plans about how to get relocation. The issue's decided, correct?
It was decided.
Well, it was decided on paper. You had other plans, didn't you, Wendi?
Ms. Adelson, if you look at that order that's entered by the court, besides saying it's denied, it says something pretty important, and I think the state pointed this out in its opening. It says that this denial is with prejudice
Yes, ma'am.
of the wife's petition for request to relocate with the minor children. And you're a lawyer, so you know that with prejudice means this is done. This topic in this divorce is over.
Yes, with prejudice means it's a final decision of the court.
But what it says right before that is, as such, the parties stipulate to the denial with prejudice of the wife's petition. You see that?
Yes, I do.
So what happened is after the judge says, if their toenails haven't been pulled out, I'm not thinking relocation, you actually stipulated to denial with prejudice, right?
Yes.
You did not tell your parents that you stipulated to denial with prejudice, did you?
I don't remember any conversation there, really.
Why do you
So,
care?
not knowing that it was denied with prejudice, your mother thought you still had an opportunity to get it up through your final hearing, right?
I believe so.
And so she kept writing these ugly things and giving you all of these ugly suggestions, right?
She did write those emails.
If you had told her you stipulated with prejudice, that's probably not what you wanted, Mom, but that would have been the end of it, right?
What?
I don't know. I would just
Wait a minute.
be guessing.
Did her lawyer just say a coulda, shoulda, woulda argument? And God forbid, I mean, she was this close to saying, and then Danny would still be alive. Wow. Okay, lady, if this is the tactic you want to take, but it's a loser one, I'm telling you.
May I approach? Well, if you'd just be guessing, after she thought it was finally over on July the 31st, there were no more emails suggesting you do things like she suggested between the hearing date on June the 20th and the final hearing on July the 31st, did she?
Can you help me? What is the question?
So sure. So your mother doesn't know when you get out of the hearing on June the 20th that you've stipulated that this is a forever decision. So she writes these ugly emails, right?
She may not have understood that it was a final decision of the court.
It was a decision of the court because you stipulated to it, Ms. Adelson, didn't you?
I did stipulate to
And
it.
she didn't know it. She thought you had up until the final hearing. So she's marching along trying to come up with more suggestions of how you can pressure Danny and get him to agree for you to relocate, even though you know it's dead, right?
Is this woman ever going to talk about the actual case, or is she just going to talk about all of this nonsense? I am waiting for the meat. This whole cross-examination has been like an appetizer course leading up to something greater, and I keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We have minutes left of this cross-examination. I don't know if we're ever going to get there, folks.
I knew that it was a final decision.
And after July the 31st, when she thought it was a final decision, she wrote no more emails suggesting you do these crazy things to still try and get relocation, did she?
I don't remember the dates of the email, but
And you
I'm guessing
testified
no.
when you got up, when the state was asking you questions, after you said your mother hated Danny at the time that he was killed, which you've clarified now that she was mad at him, not that she hated him. You testified you hated him at the time he was killed, right?
I don't remember testifying to that.
Well, then we'll need to take a break, Judge. May we approach?
Questions for the witness?
I do. May we approach?
Please approach.
Even the prosecutor is just like flustered.
Adelson, isn't it true that before getting married to Mr. Markell in, was it 2006?
2006, we got married.
Isn't it true that you've stated that you knew on your fancy wedding day, when you were all dolled up and feeling like you were an actor in someone else's show, you knew it on your honeymoon when you were enjoying the vacation but not thrilled to be there with him, you said, I'm not sure I liked him, let alone loved him, but I was eager to start a life with someone and he wanted to do it with me. You recall saying that?
I don't recall saying that, no.
I have placed in front of you what's been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1B
Wow.
for identification purposes.
That was a
It's
marriage
towards the
doomed
bottom
from-
of page
for-
3.
For failure from the start.
I see that I said that in 2013.
Ms. Adelson, you would agree that when Danny Markell was murdered on June the 18th of 2014, your little boys lost their father for the rest of their life.
On the day that he was murdered was July 18th, and yes, my boys lost their father.
They're growing up as 11 years have passed without his influence in their life in any way. Isn't that correct?
I wouldn't say without his influence in any way, but yes, they've grown up without their father.
He's not here to give them advice.
He is not.
He can't come to any of their functions, sports, anything else.
Correct.
They're not eating kosher like they would have with their father.
They are not.
They don't have him at all.
They don't have him in their lives day to day, no.
Because on July the 18th of 2014, he was brutally murdered in his driveway. Isn't that true?
That is true.
And you testified on direct that anybody in your family that had anything to do with it should be held responsible. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And that includes you, doesn't it?
Anyone who's responsible.
That's it? You're gonna spend 15 seconds on like, that includes you, Mrs. Adelson. You are responsible and Donna is innocent. Innocent. Not in a dollar, but oh my God, I'm sorry. That was the most pointless, worthless, meaningless, contradictory, inefficient, unhelpful cross-examination I have heard in a very, very, very long time. Even Alec Murdaugh, who was guilty as sin of like all that stealing money from clients and the taxes and like all this other stuff, the $6-7 million that went missing, even his lawyer was able to explain and come up with a plan as to why he was not responsible for the murders of his wife and son. And even I, to this day, I am convinced that there may be cartel involvement, but that's another story. We're not going to go there. Besides, and the clerk, oh my God, the clerk. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my playlist on Alec Murdaugh. Folks, there's a very high chance that case will be reversed on appeal and it will come back and we're going to have another Alec Murdaugh trial. Because, anyway, Adelson. Now we're back on redirect. The prosecutor is going to take some more questions of Wendi. And folks, I'm telling you, Donna's going to get convicted and Wendi is next. Wendi is going to go to trial. She's going to be prosecuted. She will be convicted and she will go to prison. Mark my words. I see the light.
You said you were an actor in someone else's show. Whose show was it?
I think I felt like I just wasn't fully present in my own life, that I had always been a real people pleaser. And so there was an aspect of not always being true to myself and wanting to make other people happy.
And one of those people is your mom, right?
Yes.
And that's part of why you kept going with relocation, even when you kind of had some doubts about it, right?
I would say it's part of the reason.
You were asked on cross-examination about the final order on relocation issued June 20th, 2013, and didn't you stipulate to making it with prejudice, I guess? Do you remember doing that?
I don't actually remember stipulating. I see it in the order, but I don't remember actively saying anything or participating in a stipulation.
In fact,
and by the way, what the prosecutor is doing is brilliant. I hate to say it, but it's true. You know, the prosecutor took right where the defense left off and was like, and that's why, it was your mother who was controlling you and you didn't want to do it. Yes. And it was your mother who influenced you. And for you, it was kind of like, sure, I'll do it. Yes. Like, she, in 15 seconds, unraveled 45 minutes of cross-examination. Think about that for a second. That woman was up there asking Wendi questions for about 45 minutes. The prosecutor gets up there in 15 seconds. I already forgot anything the defense attorney asked. I'm back to Donna's guilty. And Wendi is an accomplice. Like, she accomplished nothing. Nothing. And again, I get it. You have nothing. But you got to at least try. Create something. Create a theory. Don't just regurgitate. Go chronologically. She just went chronologically in 06, and then 07, and then 08, 09, 10, 12, 11, 13, 14. Oh, and then the murder. And then, anyway, thank you for your time. Those are all the questions I have. I'm going to sit down now. And I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs going like, okay, how long until deliberation so I can convict this woman and go home? Hello?
When you testified about this previously, didn't you indicate you didn't know what with prejudice meant?
I think it's not something that comes up in my daily practice, and so at the time I had forgotten that it meant that it was a final order.
All right, and
That is such
it
bull.
was
We learned that in law
suggested
school.
or said on cross that you didn't tell your mom it was final and she was misled and she thought there was still room for it, right?
That is what was said to me on cross.
I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as 64JJ.
This just goes to the fact that Wendy likes to play games. We're back to that. We're back to games.
Let's take a moment to review this exhibit and what you're doing.
Okay.
Now she realizes she's cooked, so she's
Okay.
trying to pretend like she doesn't know, she doesn't remember.
I mean, I recognize the email address. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am. Who's
Yes.
the email from?
The email is from my mom and dad's email address to a friend of theirs.
Who's the friend?
The Klegermans. I think it's Vicky, the woman in the relationship.
Okay, and it's signed Love Donna, right?
Yes, sorry. So it's from my mom.
And in this email, does she indicate to the Klingermans that there is no chance at the appellate level for appeal of your relocation?
Yes, that's what the email says.
All right, and is that email dated 6/25 of 13?
Yes.
So 5 days after the order was issued, your mom did know that that order was final, based on this.
Based on that email, yes.
Okay, it was, you were asked questions about, your mom never suggested any harm to Dan Markell to you, but she did want to bribe him, yes?
Yes.
Take control from him, weren't those her words?
Yes.
Aggravate him,
Yes.
scare him.
I don't remember scare him, but I believe that was part of it.
Give him some grief,
Yes.
take something from him.
Yes.
Show that fucker what would make him absolutely miserable,
Yes.
but definitely not kill him, right?
I don't know what the question is.
Donna was caring and devoted to your boys. You were asked about that. That's true, right?
Yes.
In fact, she maybe cared a little too much about your life and you and what was going on with you sometimes, right?
I don't know that you can care too much.
That was a brilliant question, actually. I would have objected as the defense. I think the defense is asleep a little bit behind the wheel. I think they already know that Donna's cooked. I mean, she has been cooked for a while. This just solidifies Donna's cooking. And she's on a slow simmer, like on a low heat right now, you know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, that question, and that definitely not kill him, she's like, it doesn't matter what her answer is. The jury understands. The prosecutor was talking to the jury in that moment. You can sense the prosecution's confidence because they have everything. They have everything to convict Donna. She has nowhere to go. And they can just keep bulldozing this case, and unless the defense is at least going to try and mitigate a little bit, because that's all they can do at this point, it's hopeless. And like I said, Wendy's next.
Even the Nazi uniform craziness came from her version of some kind of place of love. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Because although her lawyers tried to downplay this, she was suggesting a baptism for these kids, right?
Yes.
She said she looked into it and could get it done in 2 weeks, right?
I believe that's what it said.
And didn't she justify the means or claim that this would be harmless to your children because it was just like playing dress up to them, right?
Yes.
Just like Jake the Pirates.
Yes.
She thought the ends, relocation, would justify the means, didn't she?
Yes.
And she thought a move to South Florida was what was best for you
Yes.
and what was best for your children,
Yes.
who she cared about more than anyone in the world.
I mean, I don't know who she cared about most in the world, but she loves
Is there,
me.
is there anyone that she cares about more than those two boys?
My dad?
Okay. she thought relocation was best for those boys. They were
Yes.
going to have better opportunities, right?
Yes.
Better family support,
Yes.
a happier mother
Yes.
with a more lucrative profession.
Yes.
And your lives all depended on it. Isn't that what she said?
Yes.
I want to know also the level of the grandfather's involvement. He's the one that they keep showing in the audience. I mean, come on. You want to tell me that he was just like, I have no idea what's going on? You're not Tally from South Park, buddy.
And Dan Markel could have agreed, couldn't he?
He was amenable, but then he didn't want to ultimately.
Well, he could have moved to South Florida, right? Isn't that what you were asked on Cross?
Yes, he could have.
Could have moved to South Florida and enjoyed all that delicious kosher food down there, right?
Yes.
So cringe.
And if he had relented, you and he could have had separate lives in Miami and happily co-parented the boys, right?
In
That
theory,
could have happened.
Yes, it could have.
Except he wouldn't relent, would he?
I mean, he said no, and so we had a hearing, and the judge said no.
Right. He wouldn't relent. He wouldn't give your mom what she wanted, would he?
I mean, we only had one conversation about it, so it wasn't like a ongoing thing.
It wasn't an ongoing thing? What wasn't?
I mean, between Danny and I, we talked about relocation. He said he would think about it, and then he said he didn't want to. And then we had the hearing, and then that was the end of it for me.
Yes, but you were asked on Cross, wouldn't things have been potentially great for Danny down there too?
Yes, I think they would have.
Couldn't we all have lived happily ever after if he would have agreed to move down there too? Possibly, right?
Possibly.
But he wouldn't agree.
He didn't agree, no.
And that's why he's dead.
Nothing further.
That's what she didn't say. That's it. Wow. Again, far be it from me to say, but I'm telling you, the prosecution is ironclad. I'm not saying the prosecutors are great. They're doing a great job in this case. Okay? That's all that matters. That's all you need to know. I don't care about anything else. The prosecution is doing a phenomenal job in ripping apart Donna and Wendi and their motives and what eventually led to Danny's death. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, the more I get to know this case, the more disgusted and horrified I become that there are people out there who would stoop to such a level. It's so disappointing. Well, time to pay the piper. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I love every single one of you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, which is going to be Katie and then Rob Adelson, followed by probably the snitches, and then we'll do the closings because those are coming up very, very, very soon. So, till then, bye everybody.